Welcome, everybody, to the 32nd episode of the Rewilded Human podcast. I'm Dr. Lucille, and this is my co-host, Lynn, and we have the great pleasure and honor of having a guest with us, my great friend, Christina, who agreed to do this out of the kindness of her heart. Christina has been a contributor of questions before to our podcast, great questions. And we thought we would do an Ask Us Anything podcast today. So Christina is going to pummel us with questions. And just a little introduction to Christina. She's a good friend of mine. She has a fabulous heart, very hard worker. She has a mind like a steel trap and questions everything. So that makes her an excellent interviewer. And she's also got a winning personality and a great sense of humor, and she's lived quite a lot of life. So she's going to be fantastic today. And I hope we all enjoy our discussion. Okay,
I love it. Welcome, Christina. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
And we are ready for your questions.
Oh,
yeah,
I've got a good one. The good one. So I've come across the idea of breaking the family cycle. But how can someone accomplish that without understanding what the cycle involves? Even if they did, it might be scary because the family members that they're going to talk to would accuse them of stirring up trouble, like rocking the boat.
Okay, so family cycle, like a family cycle of abuse or something that's been going on for a long time? Alcoholism,
exactly.
like those kinds of things.
Yes, everything. Or things that have childhood trauma, just bad behavior in general. You know, like when a family, when a parent or a sibling is divisive, like divides the family, puts one against the other, all kinds of things like that. Because I find that those things keep repeating themselves over and over and over. Mm-hmm.
So how do we put a stop to that, right? How do we end it once and for all?
Right.
Lucille.
Wow. You know what? It really depends a lot on where the other family members are on this family cycle. And you're not going to get 100% agreement. That is absolutely for sure. I've never had an experience like this in my practice where somebody's trying to break the cycle and all the other members are on board. It just never happens. Your best bet is if you have some allies in the family that agree with you, and then it's easier to call a family meeting and then have you rehearse what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, and then let the chips fall where they may. But it's a lot easier to do that when you've got friends and family allies. Okay, so one of the greatest difficulties of this is, you're right, not understanding. You know, some people don't understand how deep the desire is for the family to hold on to their, I'll call them illusions, but they're really delusions sometimes, especially with trauma. You can be totally shocked by how much the other family members want to completely deny that there's anything wrong, even though there's evidence all over the place that something bad is happening, right? So you kind of have to ask yourself, well, what's the best and most realistic thing that I'm hoping for by bringing this out into the family? And I don't think it's the most realistic thing to say you want to break the cycle as far as changing the family dynamics, but you may want to have an intention of, I want to break the cycle of everybody here being silent about it. Mm-hmm. I want to be the one who speaks up, and I want to feel like at least I have done something, and my conscience is clear. No matter how they react, I will have done something.
But basically, the only thing you can do is change yourself and change your own behavior. And then change it going forward, perhaps with your children and how you're raising them. But going back
Exactly.
and changing the past and changing your parents or your siblings is a totally different issue.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
for absolute sure. Yeah. So now you said also, it might be scary because the family can turn on you.
Mhm.
So you have to be prepared that you're going to be the outcast. And do you have a life outside of your family? Do you have supports outside of your family so that if you're cast out, you still have, some kind of community, some support around you? Those are really, really important questions. And sometimes, it can be traumatizing. They could turn on you and say that you made it all up. You're the one who's the biggest problem in our family. You've always been the biggest problem, and on it goes. And so another thing is people have to be prepared that they could be re-traumatized by the reaction of the family members. So this is pretty dicey. It's
very, very difficult because you're rocking the boat. No matter what you do, you're rocking the boat, right? And nobody likes that, right,
Yeah.
Christina? I mean, that's a very difficult situation to be in.
So
Yeah,
Christina,
no, it would just create more problems, I
More
think.
problems, more drama. I think the most important thing really is to change yourself and moving forward, not to, I mean, once you recognize those patterns that are in your family and that you are also perhaps engaged in without even realizing it. And then once you can make those changes in yourself moving forward, and maybe the family members will notice this change in you, and without you saying, oh, you guys need to change as well. Maybe, like, let's talk about alcoholism, for example, right? Because that kind of touches everyone's family. So while you can't change someone else in your family that's an alcoholic as much as you'd like to, you can, abstain from alcohol yourself and set a good example. And maybe other people will see how your life has turned around, how much happier you are, how much more balanced you are. And then perhaps they would also follow that lead. And maybe that's a much better strategy than to be doing an intervention, telling them they must stop drinking or anything else related to that. But people just get so defensive, and for some reason it's so much more difficult dealing with these situations with family than with like friends or co-workers. Like family is just instant triggering and everyone gets offended, right? It's a much more difficult situation for some reason.
Yeah. And there's another complication like that. I think everything that Lynn has said is correct. But if it only involves, damage to oneself, like the alcoholism issue, that, you can deal with that. That I think is a perfect way to deal with it. But what if it is abuse? What if it is, I don't know, sexual abuse? And maybe there are younger children in the family who are vulnerable.
Then you must do everything you have to do.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And that would be a situation where if you have any evidence whatsoever that the children are being abused, that you would have to go to the authorities, the children's aid societies. That's an absolute must.
Absolutely.
So, and once you bring in the authorities, I mean, you're still definitely going to get ousted. You're definitely going to.
Totally.
Yeah. But at the same time, the family then has to deal with the authorities. So, you've done the best you can. You have done everything you can, and you are probably saving the lives of the younger members of the family.
Yeah, I agree, Lucille, completely. And we're not sure what the situation is, Christina, that you're referring to, but absolutely, when it comes to abuse, when it comes to children, we have to stand up. I mean, there's nobody to stand up for these poor children. And if we're not going to do it, then nobody's going to do it. So at that point, family dynamics go out the window and relationships and all that. Like, I personally would not care who would speak to me or not speak to me afterwards. I would just risk everything to protect the children, 100%.
Yeah.
So, Christina, did we address your question, or is there anything else that yeah. Oh,
no,
okay.
I know it's a difficult thing, but I hear it said around all the time. And somebody will say, oh, my mom was just like that, or my dad used to, it's unbelievable. Like this, my grandmother did this. and now it's happening again, you know? And it doesn't have to be direct to you or to me, let's say. It could be like another branch of the family that's reliving the exact same thing that happened, you know, that my grandmother did, or you know, my aunt did, or whomever. And you sit back, and I sit back and I go, oh my God, this is the exact same thing. It's just in a different, it's the exact same thing pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how we carry these things in our DNA?
It is.
I don't know, like we just keep reliving these traumas and everything else until somebody does break the cycle. And
yeah. But when you're seeing it in somebody else, you can't really do much about it. You can't even bring it up. You can't say, oh, my grandmother used to do that. I guess I could, or you could, anybody could. But it's just, you know, you're just rocking the boat, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's why I was wondering if anything can be done, because some people are oblivious.
Absolutely.
They're not paying attention. They only pay attention to themselves and the family, and you know, and as long as they're good, everything's good. But there are other things going on, you know, that are worth looking into.
No, I agree. And I often wonder why families are so complicated, like why we are given our family members the way we are. Like, obviously we are meant to learn from this, or advance or evolve from these really difficult situations. But it seems like, you know, the most challenges we get are from our family members.
For sure. Yes.
It isn't easy. It isn't easy.
No, and you know, the buttons that our vulnerabilities, our buttons can be pushed the most by our family members. 100%. You know, we can have difficulty with coworkers or friends or whatever, but nothing pushes one's buttons like, you know, your family members. So,
and you know, with family, with friends, you can walk away. If they're pushing too many buttons, you can say, okay, adios, I'm out. But it's much more difficult with family. But you know, sometimes even with family, we have to cut them loose, because if things get so toxic and they don't bring and they don't bring any joy to your life, and they just make you miserable, then there comes a point where there's just no going back, and not worth the struggle.
There's no inner peace. And I find that the older we get, and I've heard people say, the older I get, the more peace you want, internal peace, like you just, you know?
Yes, 100%. I completely agree with that. Peace over anything else in life at this stage.
For sure. Just one other thing too, for anybody who has gone through this or is going through this, and they realize that, you know, there's just no staying in the family. They just can't. There's a whole big community out there, lots and lots of people. You can find them in Facebook groups, etc., who have divorced their families. And they are, you know, basically they've decided this is enough. I can't handle it any longer, and I'm going to go out on my own, and I'm going to create my own family, my family of choice. Right. So there's actually quite a movement out there of people who have divorced their families because, for the very reasons we just talked about, it's just impossible to live with the denial and to live with continuing ongoing abuse. That's another thing. Yeah. So just a word of hope, you know, for anybody out there who might be thinking that they have to leave their families for this.
Yeah, absolutely. But really, really good question, Christina. I'm sure this affects a lot of people and a lot of families.
Yeah, thanks. So do you want to give us the second question?
I have another one. This one's really long. Okay.
No worries. We have time.
How can I help a friend? This is personal, like this is a personal something that's happening.
Perfect.
How can I help a friend who doesn't believe that they are being consistently targeted by romance scammers, even though they've seen proof of it multiple times? For instance, when the scammers ask for money or suggest moving in together, but this is after like 3 weeks of speaking with these people. Okay, I just want to make that clear. And without even having a video chat, like a video call, or making excuses that their phone broke, their camera's not working, and they ended up in the hospital was the latest one. They lost their job was another one. Anyhow, so this is draining my energy. And I feel guilty for avoiding the subject altogether. And if it comes up, I just said, I don't know what to tell you. I'm lost for words. I don't know how to help you. So I've started to pull myself away, like whenever that subject, because I know I'm not the only one that's involved being told these things. And I want nothing but happiness for this person, right? But it doesn't, you're just a target.
Yeah.
This person's just a target. So I'm just sort of pulling away from the subject and just try to ignore it. That's the best I'm doing right now. But I'm just wondering if there's another option.
Yeah, it's really hard because you really want to help her. Like you love her, she's a dear friend, and you want to help, and you see them like going over the cliff, and you want to grab them and help them, but they're not listening to you. And for some reason, these scams are just so rampant right now. I mean, I'm hearing this
I
all
know.
over
They're
the place.
everywhere.
I just
Yeah.
heard a story yesterday, and even the best friend gave her like $80,000 to send to this scammer because he was in the hospital and he needs to be rescued from Syria by private plane. And I'm like, oh my, like, how can people fall for it? And it's intelligent people a lot of times, you know, intelligent women that are falling for this. And I wonder sometimes if we are so hungry for love and attention that we will
Yes, you're
actually
right.
believe anything because we want it so badly. And finally, someone's telling us everything we want to hear. And we just have these blinders on and the rose-colored glasses, and we don't see anything beyond that.
You're absolutely right. It's not a matter of intelligence at all. It's a matter of, self-esteem. It's a big self-esteem issue because these guys know how to manipulate people's emotions. And I shouldn't just say they're guys. There are some instances where women do this, but it's much more rare. But you know, the thing is, they know how to manipulate you. They know that women in particular have a soft heart. You know, they want to help. They want to be, you know, they will be very taken in by these sob stories. And they have a poor self-esteem. So, Lynn, you're absolutely right. You know, if these guys know exactly how to flatter and to make you feel like that you're the most special, most beautiful, most amazing human being on the planet, and women will fall for it. And I don't mean to be judgmental, but if you think about it, it's really pathetic and it's very heartbreaking to see how much women will drive themselves into practically destroying their lives on some false promise that they're going to have the love of their life
and going broke because, you know, if they're going all their money going broke.
Absolutely.
And they believe these things. I don't understand. Like, I don't want to know. I don't ever want to come across as personally a situation like that, because you have to be really down for somebody to grab you like that.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And this person, I guess your friend is always talking to you and telling you about how amazing this guy is, right? Or the next guy, the next guy.
Yeah, and they're one after the other. So they're like revolving door. And I say to him, it's like, it's a scam. It's a scam. You put your picture all over Facebook. You put your phone number there. What do you think's going to happen? You know, and it's one person after another, like one after another. And it's like, oh no, the minute they ask me for money, I'm done. They're all going to, that's the whole point. Like they're only, every single person that is going to contact you, that's their purpose, period.
Yeah.
And I often wondered if it's the same person. That they just changed their profile picture.
Well, it's almost like a franchise. I'm pretty sure that there are like companies that
they're call centers and all that.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, oh, this person, the perfect victim, and they just keep, you know, opening a new profile or sending it over to someone with a different profile, and they just keep going to town because and they prey on the vulnerable people. So
absolutely.
I mean, the hard thing is, I think, Christina, you kind of lose respect for your friend. Right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
And
especially when the disappearance, Like,
Yes.
like now it's like 3 or 4 phone calls a day sometimes,
Oh,
and then disappears for 4 days, because now I know you got a new one,
yeah.
a new person that you're in contact with. Oh, I broke up with it. No, I hang up. No, I'm done. It's been done. You're constantly done, but you're constantly entertaining the next person. I'm telling you, it's like a revolving door.
Yeah.
I don't know
then
how
you get
somebody.
placed on the back burner, and then when she feels like it, or he feels like, I'm not sure if it's a girl or a woman,
It's a
or a guy.
guy.
It's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guy. So then he comes back and then he's sucking the life out of you. He's feeding on your energy.
Yes.
Right.
And
No,
that's not
and
fair.
it's the same.
That's not a two-way friendship. You know what I mean? A friendship
No.
It's
needs
not.
to be where you're both benefiting from the relationship. And it sounds like you're just giving, and he's taking. And when he feels like it, then he's dumping on you with his problems and everything else. And then other times he just withdraws when he has someone else. And that's not really a fair way to treat a friend.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm doing, like moving away slowly, is good enough, and just be like, hi, bye, friends. Hi, how are
Yeah.
you? Good. But no, I don't want to hear about these dudes that you're constantly talking to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Because
so
it's just
he's a
sucking the
guy and
life.
he's being scammed by guys.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's happening in the gay community as well. Interesting.
Oh,
For some reason, we
huge.
just assumed it was a woman getting scammed by the
Yeah.
guys, because that's the
Oh,
stereotype. But then,
yeah, I don't know. He's the only gay male friend that I know does that.
Mhm.
Online dating, like with Facebook and wherever. But it just doesn't. I think he just doesn't get it, because he's not techie.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you don't know how to log on to YouTube to watch a video, then you're pretty behind, right?
Yes.
When it
Yes.
comes, okay.
Absolutely.
So when you'd never heard of WhatsApp until a month ago, then you're pretty, right?
Yes. Then he's
So
a
I
little bit
feel bad.
naive to the
Incredibly
technical.
naive.
Yes. And I mean,
It does not.
I get so many DMs like that all the time, from this guy that, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, I want to get to.
Oh,
I mean, you
Right.
just block. Like, why would you ever
Block, yeah.
entertain someone like that? It's
it's
a scam.
constant.
But other people
Yeah,
fall
and
for it. Oh, I
right.
am the most
And
beautiful person you've ever seen. Oh my God, I'm so flattered. And he sends that out to 1,000 women, right? So
Or
yeah,
the
they're
other
all
ones
copy
that-
paste. Copy
the
paste.
ones that I
until
love-
somebody bites. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the ones that they're so lazy. All they'll do is they say hi.
Mhm. Yeah, there's
yeah.
those ones
What
too.
do you
Yeah.
say?
Oh my God,
Hi.
he's still my beating heart. He said hi to me. Oh my
Hi.
God.
Some people really fall for that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They do.
and again, it's the whole self-esteem thing, and you
Yes.
like this friend of yours, Christina. He's a bit parasitic, right? Like he's a little bit parasitic. This is funny. Well, not that funny, but he's parasitic like the other guys are parasitic on him, or trying to be, because what he's doing is he's sucking the life out of his own friends
Mhm.
to get approval, to get support for his habit, because this is like an addiction, right? He's sucking the life out of you. It's usually a person who has a very low self-esteem, and they need other people to fill up their gas tank of self-esteem constantly.
Absolutely.
They're needing the approval, they're needing the support. He wants you, Christina, to be very involved in this and helping him out to find his true love. And if you're not there, well, he moves on to another friend and asks for support. And so it's like he's sucking the life out of people,
Yes.
unfortunately, with this addiction that he has. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
you're right. The only thing you can do is do what you do, is just kind of emotionally distance.
But Christina, other than this aspect of your friendship, do you guys have good times? Do you go out? Do you enjoy each other's company?
We do. He lives far, so I do sometimes go and we have lunch and all that. But then it always turns to that story, to a story of that. But I mean, I don't mind that. But as long as there's other things that we're looking at or seeing, or I don't do that often.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
maybe you can set a rule with him that you're not willing to talk about the relationships until they've been together for 6 months or you know what I mean, until it's like a really serious relationship.
In person, in
Yeah, in
live.
person, exactly.
Live.
That you're actually connected, you've met the person, and that
Mhm.
it is a really serious relationship, because you just don't want to be sucked into the new relationship every week, because it's exhausting for you. I mean, I think if you guys are
Exactly.
good enough friends, then you can actually tell him that. Just say, you know, this is exhausting me. I just don't think this is good for you, jumping from one relationship to another. I think these guys are taking advantage of you. So my new rule is I'm happy to go out with you. I'm happy to chat with you, spend time with you. And I will talk about your relationships when you have a serious relationship that we can actually talk about.
Yeah, because those aren't serious relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cyber promiscuity. That's what
Ah,
that's what it seems like to me.
yeah.
Like you're not promiscuous in real life, like
Yeah.
like in a bar or whatever,
Yeah.
but you're going to be promiscuous online.
Interesting. I've never heard that term, but that's a good one. We'll use
Yeah.
that one.
Did you coin that term?
I
Did you
just made
coin
it up.
You just made it. We
Oh,
love
good
it.
for you. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Cyber promiscuity. I like
Write
it.
it up as an article.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Dr. Lucille, I come up with some random things sometimes.
yeah. It's
No, but
cool. I
that's
love
a
it.
good one. That's a
Yeah.
really good one.
Very good one.
Yeah.
Lucille, what would you recommend to Christina? How to
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you've said. And I have a feeling that, Christina, you tell me if I'm wrong, that if you say to him, okay, I don't know what to tell you, I'm at a loss for words, or if you try to change the subject, does he come right back again within like, a few minutes and starts back up again?
No,
Okay.
no,
All
he
right.
takes
So he
it.
will stop.
Yeah, because he's got
Okay.
another girlfriend that he talks to, but she doesn't want to hear anymore. She's already. I said, what is so and so's thing?
Mhm.
No, she doesn't want to hear about this. So that's what I want to get to that point.
Yeah, just say, well, I agree with her. I don't either.
Great.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm going to say
perfect.
next time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Your friend's got the right idea. I'm with her. I don't want to hear it
Mhm.
either. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's too much. Everybody
Mhm.
has their thing in life.
Yeah.
We're not all here catering and babysitting you.
Exactly.
That's
And
exactly right.
Christina, sometimes people just choose this type of experience. Like I have a very good friend who married a guy that I preferred she didn't marry. And it's hard for me to step back and watch the whole relationship. But at one point, I just had to accept that this is her path. This is
That's
what she chose. This is what she needs to experience in this life. And I just need to kind of step back and be there, when the things fall apart ultimately. But in the end, you cannot control other people. They're going to do what they're going to do. The only thing you can control is your reaction to them. So the best thing, if this is getting to you, if this is sucking the life out of you, then you just, step back and tell him. No worries about that. Yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm going to do for sure. Thank you for that, guys.
Good girl. Let us know. Keep us posted.
Yeah.
I will.
And we have.
I have another question.
Oh, perfect.
Yes,
Keep them coming.
Okay, this is the last one that I
No, you
that I
can have
have.
as many as you like.
Okay. So I am an award-winning procrastinator. So what is something that myself or other procrastinators can do to change before they reach panic mode?
So you only get things done once it's like absolutely urgent, right?
When I hit panic mode, yes. And
Yeah.
it's I don't know if I'm sure every procrastinator is like that. So you're going, and then you're like, boom, you get, and I like it actually.
Mhm. But do
Like
you
I
find that
like
you are more productive because of that? Because, when it comes down to crunch time, that's when you're really productive.
everything laser focus, and it
Yeah.
gets done and completed, and do not disturb, total focus, and I can actually do.
My husband's the same way. We used to publish a health magazine, and it was a monthly magazine. And he would wait until the last minute, like midnight before it was due at the printers. And then he would sit down and, he would stay up for like 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it took, and just give it all he got. And you know, he would not be the one like start at the beginning of the month and write this article and start formatting. No, in the last minute. But that's when he was most productive, when the pressure was on him like crazy. And then, you know, other people like me, I can't stand the pressure, and I'd rather get things done, get it out of the way, and then I can breathe, then I'm relaxed. But I think some people really thrive in this environment where, but it's not good for you. And obviously you're not enjoying this, so you need to change, right?
Well, I sort of like it. I like the actual, like the focus and get it done thing, because
Yeah.
it, to me, doing a little bit every day of whatever this task is that you have to do would drive me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know,
why do you need to change?
I'm just thinking if there's if I'm doo doo, you know, and
Well,
if
let's ask our
let's
holistic
ask our Delulu
psychiatrist,
experts.
Christina, a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's ask the Delulu expert. You have something that a lot of people have, which is you have a drug addiction. I'm sorry to say that. I'm going to be really
what?
A drug addiction, okay? Because and Christina and I were actually talking about this before we got on, but because you were describing, correct me if I'm wrong, you were describing that you actually get a rush and a high.
And I love it.
That last, right? Okay. So that's big time, like dopamine rush. And the key to breaking through a procrastination pattern is the pain of it has to get stronger than the pleasure. Okay. And by pleasure, I also mean not just the dopamine rush, but, you know, there's a more subtle pleasure of, oh, I put it off. I don't have to do it today. I put it off again. Don't have to do it today either. You know, so you're feeling pleasant. You're getting at least some serotonin, nice feeling. And so if you really want to break it, you have to kind of hit rock bottom and feel so bad when you're doing it last minute at midnight that you would do anything to stop it. Okay.
And what if you never get to that point? Because my husband has been
then you never get to that
I don't think
so many procrastinators out there, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not like you, like I have procrastinated, I have to say, Christina, but I'm not like you in that I enjoy that piece at the end where I'm pushing everything I've got. That is horrible. I mean, I am relieved when it's done.
if it happened to you. No, see, to me, it's like, okay, let's go, boom. And you feel it. I feel it, you 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 feel it. And then it's like, boom, everything comes out and all the work gets done.
Yes. And you feel that high. It is a drug high. It's an internal drug high, right? You're not taking anything externally, but it's a drug high. And that's why it's hard for people with that to change it. If you're more like me and you hate that last minute push, then it's easier. And I have sat myself down and I've created strategies where I can't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. But if you have a really bad experience, like this is it, I don't mean to curse you, but if one day you have a really bad experience of it and you're pushed, you know, ends up things fall apart, it does not work out, and maybe at the last minute and you're ashamed, or there's some kind of consequence that happens that's really awful, then you might be motivated to change it up. But if it's a drug high, that's difficult. That's really, really difficult. You have to find reasons that would make it painful for you. And if you don't.
What about bringing the deadline forward? Like I used to do
that.
No, that doesn't work.
My mind can't be tricked like that.
Oh.
No. Then that's, you know, procrastinators will procrastinate on that too, because you know,
see.
With my husband, I would always have to tell him the flight is leaving like 3 hours before the actual time, so that we don't miss the flight. So I would do that with deadlines with everything.
But Lynn, you're in charge of that, not him.
Yes,
if he
exactly.
was to say to himself, I think I'll push it up, he will break his own rule for sure.
No, it's true.
But if you're telling him and you're not telling him that that's false, and if you're, you know, then he'll do it at the last minute. He'll get there 3 hours early, but you will not have to push it at the very end. So
Christina,
that's a
how
good
does it
idea.
work with you when somebody wants something from you? I'm just asking.
It gets done immediately.
Oh, it gets done immediately.
Yes, I'm never late for anything unless there's an
No, she is
extreme
not.
reason. Never.
No, she's so responsible. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Very
that's a really
It's-
interesting perspective because, like, for example, my husband's a procrastinator, big word like
Procrastinator.
procrastinator. And whenever I want something from him, it's like pulling teeth. It's like it takes me. Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Can you please do this? Can you please? And it's like a million reminders. No, it's everything by the time I get him to do anything. So that's why I was asking, because that's really interesting that you are procrastinating only with yourself, but not when it comes to others. So that's
right. But there are things that I won't do. It's just if it's something that my mind doesn't become alive, then I'm not. Then I'll procrastinate and blah blah. I just will. I just won't be like going away on a trip, going to the airport. Oh, 4 hours ahead of time, I'd be there.
So what are the main things that you procrastinate with?
So like stuff you don't want to do.
Stuff I don't want to do.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like taxes, getting the taxes so written up, da-da-da, da-da-da. I waited. I was like, oh my God, I gotta do it now. Right? So
what about some kind of a reward system? Like
no,
you said you like traveling. Okay, if I get the taxes done 1 month before they're due, I'm gonna take a little holiday to Lake Simcoe for a weekend, and you reward yourself. Won't work?
No. Because to me, the reward system for me doesn't work.
Well, good for you, because at least you know what works and doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I can't be that. No, if you say, like, we'll go for let's go for a hot dog. Oh, I'll go for the hot dog because I love hot dogs. That you can totally get me to quickly do this so we can go for a hot dog.
I love it.
But otherwise, like,
okay, so I'll use that on you next time. You're basically
I'll use that on my husband. I'll try that.
When you and I go for our lunches, I'm a whip.
Yes,
I'm like,
you are. Yes, you are. But then again, you don't procrastinate on anything else, like really on the stuff that
I don't.
Got a good value system, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
If you are responsible to another person, as you said, to do something, you're going to do it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's great.
So then does it matter? Then maybe that's okay that, you procrastinate on some things and you don't on other things, but as long as you're not causing too much distress to yourself or to others.
No, I just thought maybe there's a way to change it. There's a link I'm missing. So now I know, like Dr. Lucille says, I'm a procrastination addict.
Yeah, that's right. Or, the other thing is you call me up and you say, I have this horrible thing I don't want to do. And I will tell you, okay, Christina, the moment you do it, I'm taking you out for lunch. That's another thing.
For hot dogs.
Oh my God.
For hot dogs.
Yeah.
Hot dog stand.
All right, Dr. Lucille, you're on.
I love that. What a great friend to have. I love that.
Yes, I know. But and you know what, Lynn, and Dr. Lucille, I always think, when you're 58 years old, you shouldn't be doing any of those things. Everything should go smooth and perfect, and the perfect adult, the perfect responsible, everything, nothing should ever. And then I look around and I go, oh yeah, no, that's not, no, because there's a lot of people who are asking for help.
Yeah. We never grow up, and we never stop learning or bettering ourselves.
Well, you two speak for yourself.
Are you the mature lady in the audience?
Yes, she is. She's very mature.
Silly too.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Anyways.
So thank you so much, Christina. You have been an
absolute you're welcome.
Light. And I think that you've brought up some really good issues that will help a lot of people. Absolutely. And, you've done so well. I know you have other questions, so maybe at some point we'll bring you on for an encore. But
Sure,
you
I would love to.
done really, really well with these questions, and we thank you so much for being such a fabulous guest.
Thank you
so
for
much. Our
having
very
me.
first guest, so we really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, Christina.
Yay.
It was so nice to meet you as well.
Nice meeting you too, Lynn.
And we hope that our responses helped you a little bit. And yeah, we'd love to have you back in the future with more questions.
Definitely. Thank you.
Take care. All the
Thank you.
best.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.